we have Shashank. He is the CISO of Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of Limited, and we have Sanjay sir. He is the CISO of Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. So all over to you, Pavan sir. So I would like to introduce Pavan sir on the same call. He's our co-founder and the chief executive officer. So all over to you, Pavan sir. You can take this call forward from here.
Thank you, Boini, for the warm introduction. Hi, yes, hi, Shashank ji, hi, Sanjay ji. Thank you so much for joining this call. As we all know that the recent government notification about Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas and what MHA has been done so far to actually increase the cyber awareness in today's scenario where the internet users are increasing and the more and more devices are getting connected in India. So that's why we planned this CISOs Inside on Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. It's going to be a kind of Q&A and interactive sessions where we will be discussing on what it is, how it can help organizations, and what kind of awareness level that will help or to create in India. So we'll go in that way. I'll start with the ESG, if you're here.
Yes, I am here, Pavan. I'm sorry, my office does not permit the video during the office hours, so.
No problem. So I'll start with one by one, and then we'll join on the last two questions together. So the first is in this CISO's Inside of Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. The first question is, what are your thoughts about Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas initiative and how it's going to help PSUs and government organizations? So basically, we have seen a lot of people or a lot of CIOs and CISOs taking initiatives on their own previously. Now, what has been happening is that it's become an official because of this MHA notification. What's your view on this and how it's going to help the PSUs and other government organizations?
Right, Pavan. I think it's a very, and first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here. I mean, it's a very important discussion, and you speak to any security professional across the globe. Awareness is one of the things that would always come up in the top 3-4 challenges that the people face. It's not just about knowing the things in the frontline defense team. It's all about the people who are working in the complete enterprise, who should be not just aware about the threat, but also as to what is to be done just in case something like that happens. And I think one important thing that everyone has to realize is that teaching or learning can never be organic. It has to be incentivized or maybe mandated, and this step is in the right direction. It's high time that we make it a mandatory requirement, although we do observe that complete month in October as the cyber awareness month. But I think these kind of activities always keep the interest generated, and the people would be the intent or the idea behind this is to keep the people interested, let them be aware about all these things that are happening and make them aware about the complete threats that are happening across the globe. I think it's a good thing. And the question about how this is going to help PSUs and I think all the organizations, one important thing that always happens whenever a security professional wants to do something like this, it always is not always, but at times faced with this resistance that, this can always be done later part in the year. Now that this becomes a mandate, it will help them in getting these things done much easier. With this background that this has to be done, and the ministry is asking it to be done on a regular basis, I think this is going to help the people, and it's with a good intent. So I think all in all a good thing. I just hope that not just the organization, the people also benefit out of it.
And is there anything that you feel should be added, what they have given in the notification, that this could be a part of it? What's your view on?
See, Pavan, I think the ministry or generally all these bodies would only give a statement of intent, rather than actually specifying exactly what is to be done. These stepwise things that can be, and it's a context-driven thing. For my organization, there might be other things. There might be things that I want to do. For some other, I think it's a good thing that they have not specified. They have not gone into the details, or maybe it's just the initial thing. But all in all, as I said, it's a good right step in the right direction. And let's see how things unfold. If there are any challenges that are being faced. And I really, honestly, do not foresee any challenge in this. It's all about awareness. It's all about generating these things. So yeah, we can always keep on adding few things. Maybe we'll learn as to how things progress.
Correct. Thank you so much. Uh, Shashankji, what if being a decision maker at a prestigious government organization, can you tell us how you're planning to observe Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas within your organizations? What are things like you feel and you will be doing over the period of years? But I think there is something that we have to tell the MHA again back. This is what we done, and they have shared some samples. So what does your plan look like from a security awareness standpoint?
Yeah, thanks, Pavan, and thanks for having me here with the esteemed panelists. So, the thought process, is that obviously being a public sector enterprise, we are, as just you were also telling, that we are kind of following the National Cyber Security Awareness Month in the month of October. And also from my end, I'm regulated by IIDA as well as RBI. So, we have to follow those regulatory guidelines also, we being a financial institute. So, having said that, awareness, is the most, strongest pillar if I have to defend against any kind of cyber attack. And being vigilant is really critical. And this circular emphasizes the same thing. I guess we were discussing the same last time when I met you. That the whole point was that it is good that they have mandated. It is a regulatory requirement now. It has now become in our parent ministry also asking us to devise a plan of action for this circulated here on month-wise calendar for that. And we are very proactive at least in this step. So it is good. So firstly, it is that we already have certain context of awareness related budgets and creating awareness materials, so on and so forth. But now this we are not just doing for 1 month; we are doing across the year, and that also then we have to look at whatever has been guided. Month-wise, what we have to do, what all topics can be covered, and obviously the topics are wide-ranging, as you also told that they are not specific. They are broad line. Guidelines have been put in, which is good at least. So we can focus on what is really impacting us. So, for example, like me, or institute financial related frauds and anything which is related to financial transactions is of critical importance. So we can train our employees around that. And one more thought is that it is never enough. Training and awareness is never enough. So it has to. I would say that I would do year long, but still there would be a couple of users who might go down and click on a phishing link. That is still possible. So I guess this awareness has to be coupled up with a lot of phishing simulation, or maybe conduct some certain exercises which I can train them, then again drill them, and then again train them. So like a train, drill, train kind of a cycle, which we kind of follow. But now we used to do it only for phishing links and all. But now I guess we have to create a lot of material for down the line, and we have to plan accordingly for other different topics also, because it's an year-on exercise which would require a lot of material, a lot of insight to be developed internally. So yeah, that is one of the pain points definitely. But yes, I'm looking forward to how to put this as a task on my hand.
Yeah, you correctly described it, and I think the best way is to again do a simulation, then a drill exercise, and kind of physical simulation, and then understand how the behavior look like of the employees and how things works out, the kind of awareness that they already have. So correctly pointed out in that. Sanjay, what do you feel, how important it is to provide security awareness with a proper cybersecurity awareness training for an employee? I know that there are a lot of being said that 95% of the attacks happens because of people, but at your level, what is your views on providing security awareness, and why you feel this is very important, and why the ministry came at right now as in Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas on this thing?
Sir, it is a very good initiative by MHA for providing the cyber security awareness training, awareness to all the public sector organization. In an organization, for the security, it is not only for the CISO or the security team to take care of the security, but for the whole organization, for the whole people of the organization. So security awareness is required to be conducted throughout the year. So we usually used to conduct training throughout the year for our people. So in this way, all the organization can provide training to the users, to all their employees, so that not only for the organization, for their day-to-day activity, they also get benefited.
Correct, sir. And also, is there any in a security awareness plan? Do you feel that we have to bifurcate on the basis of departments and users, the kind of awareness training goes? Is there any specialized awareness training that should go to the different department, or you feel that there's a one structured
Specialized
approach?
training is needed. Specialized training is needed for the IT department, and for other department, generalized training is needed. General training is needed.
Understand. Yes, going back to you, how important do you think it is to assess and monitor the vulnerability level of each employee, and how helpful this approach can be in managing human-centric vulnerability? Because we have talked a lot about the tech-related vulnerability, where you have OS top 10 and the other thousands of vulnerability existing in the current system. But generally, people never talk about, usually do not talk about the human-centric vulnerability, which is the end line of defense. So how important it is, do you think, to assess and monitor the level of each employees, and how helpful this approach can be in managing human-centric vulnerabilities?
Right, so Pavan, to answer your first question, I think the data would speak for itself. If you look at any of the attacks that has happened in the recent past, more often than not, it is a non-intended action taken by the user which has resulted into massive attacks, and not just the smaller ones, really massive ones. So therefore, I don't think so there is any question of this not being the right approach. How does the problem here is, and your question also is, assessment of the vulnerabilities of the human. Now that's a very difficult thing to do. The only way around this is that you constantly keep on training the people. Because one, you can never find, and the attackers are also very smart. They are acting on not just technological, they are not taking advantage of the technological tools, but also they are playing on the emotions and all those things. And that's where these training and awareness camps would help. How does one respond in a typical scenario is what we keep on doing, all these drills and all, whether it is for physical security or for other forms of safety and security. Unfortunately, cyber is not often taken as one of the, I would say, the important areas or domains where these kind of drills are required, and one has to act in a certain manner whenever an eventuality comes. I think all of this, while the security people have always understood the requirement of these things, it's as I said earlier, and I think rest of the speakers have also talked about how important these mandates are going to be for these security people. To answer your question, yes, it is certainly important to know the vulnerabilities, and it's a known fact. As a matter of fact, you actually do not require anybody else to come and tell you that there is a vulnerability in the people who are operating. It's a known thing. It's just that how much of relevance you are giving to that fact is something that one has to look at. What are the means and controls that you're deploying to mitigate the risk that is, and this is a risk, this is a necessary risk. I cannot obviously say that there would not be any people operating on the entire enterprise. But there are always going to be people, there are always going to be chances of somebody doing some unintended thing. Therefore, these kind of training and awareness is always going to be helpful for the organization and the security people.
Yes, whenever we look at threats, so we look at how the attacker can get insights into your organization, or how attacker can get into your organization. So there are multiple ways. One could be email, or by which they can try to do a social engineering attacks to the people. There could be a phone call, going with the phone call, asking them for some confidential information. There could be SMS. There could be your WhatsApp, or currently, because WhatsApp API is open, they can actually plan it in a bulk. How do you see that doing a drills on these kind of attack vectors will be helpful while assessing this, the vulnerability of an individual people, means understanding that how much they have been aware of this kind of stuff, apart from the awareness training that we are imparting again and again. So what do you feel in that line? How important these drills or these simulations are from your perspective in the organization?
Yeah, a very relevant question, Pavan. In fact, we often tend to ignore some of the threat vectors or the areas to get into. You speak to any security professional, the first thing that they would tell you is that we would try to block all the incoming traffic, or at least monitor the incoming traffic and all the sources of traffic which is coming inside the enterprise. Now, the similar thing when it happens to a human, there are multiple channels that a person has opened, whether it is WhatsApp or even SMS, texting, simple texting messages, the browsing that is being done, social media platforms on which the user is operating, even telephone calls. I mean, why ignore that, or why discount the fact that the attackers are now operating through the normal voice calls, all these terms, wishing, phishing, mailing, and all that. So, first of all, it is important to understand that the entry point can be through any medium. It is not just restricted to earlier mails.
Correct.
Security attackers, or the people who are acting in a malicious intent, are aware of the fact there is a lot of security control employed or deployed at the email level. Therefore, the other mediums are now being used to carry out these attacks. Social engineering, you mentioned WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a very, very common medium. It's very cost effective also. Earlier
Correct.
you had to do this SMSing and all, you still required to pay some money. Up to simple data cost ही होती है, which is any which way so easily available. So I think to take all of these into consideration is also a requirement which is to be done by the security people, not just restricted to just mail oblique maybe SMS. I think the drills to be done for WhatsApp, for social engineering, for the likes of these social media sites on which you are interacting with people and peers around, even the so-called corporate social sites, or the ones which are known as professional social engineering social media sites, they are also now being used as a medium to carry out these attacks. I think it is important for the drills to take into account each of these threat vectors, individually
Mhm.
target take one at a time, or maybe take multiple also, and bring it to the notice of the people that it is not just from one area where they would be facing this. It can be from multiple areas simultaneously or at distributed time. So I think all these mediums, the acknowledgement of all these mediums as a threat vector is important, and to act upon these accordingly is also needed.
I think you correctly put it out on those lines on what could be done and what could happen. Uh, Shashank ji is
I'm sorry, Pavan and Moini, I would have to now jump off. I
no
have
no problem.
next.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Pavan. Thank you, Moini.
Thank you so much, Yask.
Right. Bye bye.
Shashank ji, you are here.
Yeah, hi. I was just
Hi.
joining.
And no problem. Thank you so much for opening the webcam. So the next question that I have is, in your opinion, what will be the biggest challenge for PSU and other concerned organizations in complying with guidelines issued by MHA regarding Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas? So basically, what kind of challenges that you feel will be faced by the like PSUs and organizations? One, I know that it should be multilingual on a different level, so the people have some kind of difficulties on that line. But what is your views on that?
Yeah, very rightly said. So, as I said, we being public sector entity, we have presence across Indian geographies, and we are not locally present. Firstly, and secondly, our staff is also pan nation, and then also, as you rightly said, it has to be multilingual. It has to be catering to different languages, because we have a lot of our tasks being carried out in local languages, like from our business operations included. So that is one of the things. And again, when we see the use case, I mean, how MHA has brought this up, is that it is not just internal to our employees, it is also to the community at large, be it our clients, be it our export promotion councils and everything what we kind of arrange. We need to be present over there also. So for them, I guess, yeah, for internal employees, we could have our center of excellence, and I could give lectures for different kind of attacks. But then when we are kind of catering to our clients also, the education and awareness, and because ultimately they'll be using our services, the government services which we are providing as a strategic arm, being a public sector enterprise. So I mean, there also, one of the challenges that we need to have better understanding of those systems. Obviously, secondly, we cannot just rely on materials which are available online. And yeah, we have got good materials. You yourself have a very good database of amazing video lectures and everything. But yes, having said that, that is one level of things, because the human tendency, as I said, it is never enough. Training is never enough.
Correct.
And then obviously we have to understand from the user perspective, because see, there's a convergence of all technologies, right? A fellow who is not at all using my technology, be it on be a staff member who is not at all using my IT services, but still he is now on a smartphone, and he's still impacted. And then I see that the human presence is also kind of getting impacted. What we see in COVID is that if we are losing the human factor, so its availability of the human factor is also required. So if the person is facing certain challenges, be it on his personal level, we have to actually go down to that level and kind of educate, because it is just not our systems and our services which have to be taught to them. It is also the social media channels, how to use them, create awareness among our employees, because what has to be shared, what is not to be shared, how to give parental controls nowadays too, because they have children who are working, who are actually getting education through online mediums. So it is impacting. So the entire life is now becoming digital, and the digital risk is nothing but a cyber risk. And to create Jaagrookta around that 360-degree vision of cyber awareness is really a huge challenge. That's what I see.
Yeah. I think great insight on that side. I think you mentioned briefly about kids. So it's much more important for them, because they, even though as an adults we understand it on a bit level, but for a kids it's a nightmare if something happens back to them on that level. I think, Shashank, I think if you can just answer this will be very, really helpful for us. What do you think, while creating a cyber annual action plan for celebrating Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas in your organization, what are the top element or important things that you should be considering?
So obviously, first and foremost is the compliance to the circular, obviously, because it has come from MHA, and what I see is MHA is kind of developing the US version of Homeland Security, and which is very good. So cyber should not be just governed by the CERTINs and the Ministry of IT, but it's also the Homeland Security, which is also critically important. And obviously, we have critical sectors like Yask mentioned, right, which are critical energy sector, as well as critical power sector and everything. So these are very critical segments. Obviously, I do not fall under national critical infrastructure, but we are strategic arm, and we are unique to the export promotion within the government scheme of things. So first is obviously, as I said, is the compliance to make sure that we are giving it. Secondly is obviously it should the whatever awareness we are trying to give. Whenever I have tried to give this awareness, people try to look at it as a compliance box, or they think that it is not a part of their business. So as I guess Sanjay was telling, that it is everyone's responsibility. So the first line of thing is that I don't have a security team. All my employees are my cybersecurity team. That is the way I believe, and that level of insight should come to them, and the security culture to be developed. So I mean, that is one of the foremost challenge, and obviously to stitch a story, because there are a lot of topics among cybersecurity, but they have to be linked together, so that there is like we have in a lot of OTT platforms and media, we see there's season 1, then season 2, and then there is a link between all those seasons, right?
Correct.
Of different web series. Similarly, there should be a link between different cybersecurity awareness, so that there is a eagerness among the listeners or those who want to get aware, that they are awaiting that when the next season will come, or when is the next month's Cyber Jaagrookta. and that is a major thing which is on my mind, how to stitch a story throughout end to end, so that till the 12th month they're still aware that yes, on Wednesday I'm expecting something on this particular web series. So that is my thought process. I don't know how
this is amazing. I think this is amazing. The one thing that you mentioned, and this will keep in my mind, is that all your employees, your cybersecurity team. So that's a key factor. And also, I think gamification levels can help on reaching to the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So I think that will be important. So we have understood that it's very important to celebrate Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. It's as per the circular, it's in the first week of every Wednesday, we as an PSU and all the organization has to do that. It's a kind of compliances, and not only compliances, it's our responsibility to be a cyber aware Bharat in that sense, so that we are protected from multiple threats that are coming, not only from a hackers, but right now the state-sponsored attacks that are happening across the world on a different level. So thank you so much everyone for your time. I know it's a quick shot, but we will be doing a lot more, and we'll be inviting again all the speakers to get more insights on what exactly is happening and what are the plans, and how all of us can take an advantage of what the PSUs and other corporates are doing at their end. Thank you so much, Ranji. Thank you so much, Sanjay, and thank you, Moini, for coordinating this. Thank you so much again for this wonderful sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shashank sir. Thank you so much, Sanjay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.